Morning everyone, and I am on yet another Cornish beach. This one is called Porthcurnick, which is just east of Porthscatho on the Roseland. It's a stunning little beach. It's only a tiny beach compared to the one at Pendower. Now it's going to be very bright, and the sun is just full on in front of me, and the palette is also heavily lit, so there's not a lot I can do about that. So you're going to have to work with that, and hopefully you don't sort of lose out too much on the mixes as I go. But this is a lovely little watercolour of the beach, and I felt that it would be really nice to do a watercolour for a change. So let's press on, let's see what happens. Okay everybody, let's get underway and do this watercolour. Now you're going to hear lots of noises from kiddies and parents and on this beach. I mean, it's a lovely beach, and you know, families are gathering as we speak, but it is a stunner. Now I did a little watercolour last night from the top of the headland here, and I'm going to do the same area, but this time I'm going to be doing it on the ground level. So what I'm going to be doing here is sort of a middle way line through here for my sea, something like that. I think would be quite nice. Just a small indication of the sea, and then below the sea here we've got the little, what's left of the rock outcrop coming down and up slowly up the beach. Okay, so let's build up our wash. I'm going to first off mix up some Phthalo Blue, quite a bit of it. So that's all done. What I'm going to do though, just to help my cause, I'm just going to wet this paper. There's a little bit of paint in the water, which is quite interesting. I might sort of use that. You can quite happily take any hard edges out like that, very simply. We don't have to have them if we don't want them. Both transparent yellows that I use. Let's just bring that into there, take that through there, let that run down into the hill like that, and taking it all the way down to the water, and then take that through there and back out this way. So we've got this sort of suggested estuary of water that's coming down through here to find the sea once more. Getting a little bit dry on the brush, but that's probably enough there to do the job. Take that down to that side also, and just drop that in. It's going to run, it's going to fuse, going to do all sorts of what apparently look to be horrible things over it. So I'm going to go through some of my rocks as well. Now I'm going to be very careful. I want a nice straight horizon line. That's going off a tad. Excuse me while I stop talking. And this won't be the only layer that we put on here. We will add to this. I think, you know, we're going to add sort of little bits of waves and suggested bits of different colorations in the water as the sun hits it. Acidic green on the top of this mound, so let's just put that in. And again, be careful what you're doing. Put that down there. Nice, crisp, strong dark edge. We're going to have a little bit more pigment to this later on. That takes us down to the top of that rock, just to suggest the sort of exposed cliff faces that we got in there. I'm going to run that all the way through there. I'm going to be really careful not to sort of go over my water areas. Take that all the way down through there. I'm hoping that this blue is dry. Now, sort of sand is a little stronger, and you got senses of little patches of water, soft edge. I don't want to go too mad with this, and just going to come in here with a little darker areas behind some of these rocks. There are going to be a few shadows, but there's a lot of light bursting through. I mean, the contrast here is enormous. Little identifying features, however. You know, I said not to worry about getting the cliff crags exactly where they are, but identifying marks, certain features, you know, area like that, and that, you know, that with that little hook on the end, and the shapes of some of these, and the numbers. You know, if you've got 1, 2, 3 or 4, try and make 1, 2, 3 or 4. It's quite important. Right, and just taking this line up here, because this is quite a cool green, and that sort of comes down that way. But yeah, I'm just putting in sort of taps. I'm suggesting natural forms of rock, but then I'm leaving and skipping little bits of the undercolor that I hope will suggest the light that is catching that rock. I'm going to come in with some of the blue, a little bit of that turquoise colour. I love that turquoise colour. A little bit of phthalo blue, just a smidge of orange into that whole thing, enough to turn it to a little bit of a deeper greenier colour. I want to come in and sort of do I like that? I think it could be a bit orangey and a bit bluer, to be honest. A little less of the green, a bit more blue in there, a little bit of orange in there, just to turn it. It's still essentially green, but somewhat darker one. Just going to put in sort of little where the ripples or the slow tide, okay, similar colour, because the water area here is reflecting a lot of the stone of the hills beyond. So we're going to put that sort of colour in and let that come down, and leave little areas of white or blue that were there before. We're going to leave those in place. We're not going to try and change those. Alright, we are going to continue this all the way along. Now, of course, these rocks up in here are going to be bigger taps because they're that much closer than the ones far down the beach there. So I'm just going to bring 1 or 2 in. Now, there are 1 or 2 little bits of stuff on the sand, which is quite interesting. Little bits of stuff that sort of left on the sand, little taps. Don't make too much of them, just 1 or 2. Always remember to do them as odd numbers. And let's just put one. Where shall we put one? Maybe just off center here, and put a couple. So I'm just going to put a shape in like that, and connecting some of the shapes is not a bad plan. And I'm going to put a little doggy there. There's lots of little doggies around. I'm going to put a little doggy in. Don't know what sort of doggy that is. It's a little doggy. There we go. Maybe another little doggy. Slightly bigger doggy maybe. Just quickly pop in with some little shadows coming off the person. side of our shed or our outpost or whatever it is at the top there, and we're going to come in with a lighter value, a little bit. I'm using the rigger quite a lot now because of that. So now I'm just going to come in and try and leave little areas within these rocks, the shadows, the light, so that we're doing the same thing as we did over here, and we're just going to try and create the sense of the rocks. Now that's going to be down the edge of that one, so we're going to leave that space and just add a bit of warmth into some of this. I think we're sorted. I don't think, oh, I said I was going to come in with some darks, maybe a bit warmer and darker, a bit more water dark, a bit more dark. So I'm going to tap in a little bit more on some of these bits in here, just to suggest a bit more warmth in there. And with that, I'm going to call it a day. Okay, we've got our seagulls, we've got our people, we've got our dogs, we've got our reflections, we've got our shadows, we've got everything we need. So I'm just going to put a signature to one side on this one and put it out the way. And let's put it down here. Done. Okay, signed, sorted. I'm going to take a break. Okay everybody, well that's done and dusted. I had a lot of fun doing this. I know it's probably a long one, and unless you're seeing an edited version of course, so then it won't be. But I had a lot of fun doing it. As I say, it's got everything in it. It's got seagulls, it's got people, reflections, it's got dogs, it's got reflections of this and the rock. It really is, it's nice and it's contrasty, it's contour, you know, and it has all that sparkle in the water. So I had a lot of fun doing it, as I say, and I do hope that you guys have got something from it to enjoy and also learn from and have a go at this yourself. Now I will take a photograph. The photo will be, as I said earlier, slightly different from this area here because it's much lower tide. The tide is way down here somewhere now, so you can paint it from that, and it will be a slightly different image of course, but I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun doing that. Now if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and look at the Patreon channel. It's now a pure watercolor channel on my patrons, so that you will get tons of watercolors in the future as a fantastic resource. So it's well worth getting involved. It's only going to cost you $5 or $10 a month anyway, so look at that. And don't forget, you got the live streams, you got the YouTube channel purely for the watercolors as well. So, but if you're an oil fan, you can still nip on over to the other channel, don't forget that. But in the meantime, I'm going to get set up now, have a little bit of a break and set up for another painting, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care everybody, have lots and lots of fun, and catch you all in the near future in a new video. Take care for now, bye bye.